Okay, well, I'm coming from the inside of the 1977 Cadillac Eldorado, and I'm already having a little bit of an issue. So I bought this on Saturday evening, and it's only Monday afternoon. I'm just coming back from work, and all of a sudden, at a stoplight right after getting off the freeway, a whole bunch of steam started coming out of the engine bay. So I've just gone ahead and pulled over, and as I was pulling over, the engine is totally cut out, which is kind of a bummer. You can kind of look forward and it says definitely the engine is hot, which is pretty obvious from all the smoke or the steam coming out of the engine, which was a lot more earlier. But yeah, this is just gonna be fucking awesome. That's great. Great way to start the project car. Okay, so you guys are gonna have to excuse kind of the shitty camera angles. I'm just using my iPhone, I didn't expect to film today. But yeah, so a little update. I'm still on the side of the road, but luckily I'm not too far from my dad's house. And so he came and kind of helped me out and brought some water. And pretty much what the issue is, it looks like, so there's a lot of hoses in this car that need to be changed. I probably shouldn't have been driving it this much without doing a little bit of just kind of maintenance that this car really deserves. But yeah, so the heater hose cracked or like split wide open and drained out my coolant. So he's actually going back home. He's got some extra hoses laying around. So he'll be back to help me with that, and then we'll put some water in it and then get it back to his house, where hopefully we can just go ahead and fix this up. But yeah, so literally like 3 days into this, almost, not even really. Actually only 2 days technically, right? Saturday, Sunday, yeah, 2 days. Yeah, so kind of not the best sign. The rain did hold out for me though while we were out messing with the engine compartment. It's just starting to rain now. Hopefully that will kind of end here pretty soon. But yeah, so that's kind of a little update on where we stand with the project car. Yeah, let's hope for better things in the future with this. Let's just make this like the bottom of the slump, and then we're just gonna work our way back up. So yeah, I'm still excited about the car, still excited about what we can do with it, restore it, and maybe have a little fun with it. But glad that I don't have any engine damage. That was something I was kind of worried about as I was pulling off. But yeah, so that's the update. Okay, so let's go ahead and fast forward to the next weekend, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys exactly what we had to change out. It was the heater hose that kind of exploded. You know, all these hoses are probably either original or just very old. So I'm gonna go ahead and take you guys in the engine compartment and let's go ahead and see what's been changed out and kind of what kept me busy this week. So to show you guys what we actually did inside the engine compartment, I actually need to get in here, but there's a little bit of an issue. It does have a hard time releasing the hood open because the springs are worn out and they're old. But I'm smart and I've thought of a solution, so I'm going to show you. First, let's pop the hood from the inside of the car. We'll pop it from this side. Unlock it. Keys. We're in. Next, attempt to open the hood like normal. So we'll come up here, push, but see, it doesn't release all the way. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is lift up each of the rear corners of the hood to help release some of the tension on the springs. Once more. Now go back inside of the car and pull the hood release again. This would be easier if I could go through the driver door, but the fence is in the way, and that's a whole thing. Moment of truth. Success. And just like that, we're in. Yeah, so here we are in the engine compartment of the Eldorado, and if we kind of come back here, so here is the heater hose right here, this whole little segment. And pretty much it was in this region right about here where it just totally exploded. I mean, you know, the rubber was so old at this point, you know, it was bound to happen. So yeah, this kind of exploded and there was coolant and everything all up in here. Yeah, and so that kind of is what left me on the side of the road kind of stranded. Because, you know, without any coolant, it pretty much all, you know, evaporated because it's super hot. You know, the engine was going to start overheating, and so, you know, the engine is kind of cut off. So what my dad, thankfully my dad is very knowledgeable with cars. He is definitely my lifesaver, and one of the few people, along with my stepdad and watching YouTube and a couple other people that I know, you know, they're really the people, they're like my go-to people with, you know, If I have, big questions or things I'm really nervous about working on my cars, I go to them. YouTube's also a good resource, like me. I'm not putting myself in the same group as experts, because I'm not, but other people on YouTube that actually know what they're doing, good resource. But yeah, so after having that heater hose just completely bust open, and since I had driven this car down to my dad's house, he just wasn't going to have me driving this thing around without it being at least in a more operable state. So he actually went through, let me go ahead and show you guys. He went ahead and replaced both the upper up here and the lower coolant hoses for the radiator. The lower one was a real pain for him because he had to undo, well, it wasn't a pain for him, but it would have been a pain for me if I had to do it. That stuff's easy for him, but he had to go ahead and remove all of these belts to get out of the way so that he could go ahead and run that hose or just get access to it. But yeah, he went ahead and did that. And since all these belts had to come off to go ahead and get to that lower radiator hose down there, we went ahead and replaced this belt right here because it was actually making a really annoying squeaking sound. But then on top of it, let me get out of the light, there we go, better for you guys, better for me too. But also, when you kind of just touched the belt there on that one, it was actually starting to break away, so I was really just hanging on by a thread there. But yeah, so, while we were kind of taking all this stuff out, that was a good time to go ahead and replace that belt and then tighten up the other two that are in here. In here, I think in the past, this was originally a metal fuel line, and here you can see it's metal up to this point going back, and then it's metal up in here. But in here, there's a little rubber bend, and he thinks that might have been metal originally, but it was replaced to rubber at some point, and it was looking kind of old, and he was thinking, we might want to replace that because if that does break open and that's a fuel line, and it hits the hot engine, we might catch the engine on fire. And that's kind of no bueno. So we went ahead and replaced that. Once again, he replaced it, not me. But yeah, and then like I said earlier, he went ahead and replaced the entirety of the heater hose that goes from the radiator. It kind of goes along back here and then up to that area where he replaced. He replaced the bend and just the whole length of that hose. And then I think that is just about everything that he replaced up to this point. But that's all the essential stuff that really needs to be replaced. Kind of looking around here, I should be looking at you guys, but anyhow. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And then he's kind of checked to make sure that everything looked to be in, fairly good order. And yeah, it looks pretty good. But yeah. So that is kind of where we stand with the Eldorado right now. We've replaced quite a few hoses and given it a good look over. So I have my dad's seal of approval to drive it now. It's not going to totally break down. The probability is less than it used to be. So that's always a good. We're moving in the right direction. But yeah, so I think the Eldorado is looking pretty clean right now. Well, not clean. Okay, I keep coming back. In my eyes, I'm rose-colored glasses right now. It looks pretty good. I know it's far from being a perfect car, but when I bought the car, I knew it was going to be like this. Maybe I should be a little bit more realistic when I'm driving this thing 100 miles away from home for work. But I kind of have an addiction to cars, and I kind of like to play with my toys. So, next time I break out on the road and no one's around to help me, then I might learn. But, it's a fun car. If you bought yourself a new toy, wouldn't you want to drive it too? So, it's a Garrett problem. But, yeah, who knows? But yeah, so yeah, that's kind of where we stand with the Eldorado at this point. But yeah, I think we're in a good place with this car right now. The transmission, there is a little bit of an issue with that I'm having. I'll make another video on that. It's totally operable. It's just I'm hoping I'm not seeing signs of it going bad. But other than that, I'm feeling very confident in being able to drive this car now that we've replaced some of those hoses and stuff. And I've had someone that actually knows what an engine, what things should look like, which is my dad. He's looked it over and he feels pretty good. So I feel like with his seal of approval, I can drive this thing around a little bit more and not worry about breaking down, because that wasn't really a worry in my head. It drove fine when I took the test drive, so I was like, this is fine, it drives. Not really worried about it breaking down. And then when it actually happened, you're like, holy shit, I didn't really think about this. Maybe, this is a pretty old car and it really doesn't have, a lot of maintenance done, perhaps. I kind of assumed maybe there was a little maintenance done, but, assuming makes an ass out of you and me, and it was really me who's kind of made the ass, because I don't think you really did a lot of maintenance on this car. At least not, the last owner. Maybe the original owner that had it for a long time did, because the car's in pretty good shape. But yeah, it's been neglected in the last few years. So I'm learning that. And yeah, but I'm feeling a lot more confident now with being able to drive the car and just moving in a more positive direction than we've started here now. But yeah, I'm feeling good about it. But yeah, so if you guys have enjoyed watching my troubles thus far with the Eldorado, or you just feel bad for me, go ahead and smash that like button. I would really appreciate it. And yeah, if you want to see more of me or more of my cars, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, One Brain, Four Wheels. And like always, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching once again, and I will see you guys next time with another great video.